thank you very much to come on our talk show,
Pleasure.
10x Shooting Talk Show. So you have been a great shooter yourself. So just wanted to ask you, what made you think that you should come in the coaching profession?
See, basically, now you're quite aware how I started. Like we all started training. Of course, we were very lucky to have a coach like Sanjay Chakravarti. But at that time, even there was a lack of technical knowledge always because see, the ours was the first generation who has taken shooting seriously, and we literally started from zero and reached to 400. So Sanjay sir, like all my coaches help building my mindset, but the technical knowledge, that is the sport specific technical knowledge, was missing because he also never had a chance and that kind of exposure in his shooting career. So, but fortunately, because we went ahead till the say Olympics or through that level, lot of things we learned through trial and error, and it was a very long process, like almost 20 years it took me to understand the basics of shooting sport. So there it was like, no, man, next generation, if they also waste so much time learning the basics, then there is no point in us, spending so much time, and then we are not giving anything to the society or the next generation. So it was, I felt it was very much necessary that we give away our knowledge to the next generation.
Basically, you have been a shooter, so you think that a coach needs something specific besides a shooter, or it is a mandatory thing that the coach should be a good shooter and then he should start coaching?
I personally feel that especially in rifle shooting, it is very very important that a shooter, a coach has some experience of shooting, because see, here you can't see anything. It's like there are the concept, many concepts are very difficult to understand unless you do it yourself. So the feeling, how can you just explain a feeling to a other person when you have not experienced it? So for that it is very, and it's a precision sport, especially air rifle shooting. It all depends on what you feel, like physical, like how your senses react and how what you think. So unless you go through that process, it is very understand for that coach to understand what a shooter is going through. So I think it is mandatory for a coach to be a shooter at whatever level. The better the level, better the coach.
So how long you have been coaching?
As such, I have been coaching for 3 years only. But fortunately, I started coaching Indian shooting team immediately after I started coaching. Like you can say, I started coaching with the Indian team only directly. So it was a big exposure and good experience. You get a variety of shooters coming from different backgrounds with a different mindset, and the age group is also like, it's from 13 to 21, all growing up, different stages of growing up. So that is also very important.
So besides the Indian contingent, do you have any other students whom you coach?
Yeah, I have some shooters like in state, like Maharashtra state shooters who shoot in Mumbai.
Okay. You would like to name a few?
Yeah, there are many like this, the Priyal Kenny, Karan Bandal, Ninath, Chandri. Actually, Priyal and Ninath came to me through national sport only. But because they are based in Mumbai, like I can interact with them better. And this Kaivalya Nerurkar, there are quite a few.
So given an option, what do you think is the right age to start shooting?
See, I personally feel you should not start shooting before the age of 12, because physically children are not ready before that, and it's a growing up body. Bones are soft, and guns are heavy also, and the posture is they have to stand in a very odd posture, which can affect, like they can get injury for life, which is not what. So they should start after 12 when they have, and another thing is this sport is very different. So to understand the sport, they require a certain level of maturity. So that comes only after, like from 12 onwards, their emotional growth is also quite fast. So then they understand things also better.
So even at the age of 12, they should be physically strong.
Physically strong, and that's the major trouble with the youngsters or general shooters, because they see anybody can shoot 110.
Correct.
Shooting 110 is not the point. With this kind of equipment, that 10, it's not shooters' credit. It is because that weapon is so sophisticated and we are using so many equipments. So you manage to shoot that 110, but that's not the challenge. Challenge is not shooting 110. It is, they think that if they shoot 110, they just have to repeat it. It's not that. That repetition itself is a challenge, and for that you require real physical strength, and even that repetition in training is not enough. It is like with situation, the challenge main in rifle shooting or any kind of shooting is the situation is the main challenge. So the level of competition you participate in. So there, if you have to stand and do the same thing as you do in training, you need physical strength, which can, under that stressed situations, can handle that kind of pressure. So this physical fitness is very, very important, and that has to be the base.
I think all this while you have been training professional shooters, like who have already come to maybe the state or national level. But for a novice, a person who just started shooting, do you have any program for them?
Yes. See, like I have trained some novices. I started with zero only. I started a small range in Mulund.
Oh, that's nice.
So initially, because it was a new range, I had to take basic courses, absolute basic, just make them understand the importance of sights and all the open sight shooter. And through that, then slowly they got into peep sight shooting, and then now they are shooting at nationals. So we do have a program for all levels of shooters. See, you cannot just randomly train, because it doesn't lead you anywhere.
Correct.
And for any sport, and especially for shooting, whatever you do in the competition, that is a reflection of your preparation at every level. Like even if you start at basic, for them it's a different program. For the shooter shooting at say some competitive level, for them it's a different program. And as the program changes according to the level of competition.
So you believe in training in batches, or you believe it is ideal to train one-on-one? How does it work?
That also it differs from as per the level of shooter, because at the basics sometimes a shooter absolutely new, or he has changed all the equipments, then I have to set that particular equipments or his weapon for that shooter. At that time, that shooter has to, like, I have to give him personal attention. Usually I have to train. But then later on, there are times when the shooter needs company. Like if they train together, it's easier for a coach also to make them understand few concepts. It's not that you everything you cannot learn through your own experience. There if you start doing that, then the whole life will go in like
Right.
Harun, like you start from home and reaching here will be one experience. It's like we live as a society,
Right.
so you learn through others' experience and move forward faster. So it's like that. So when there are times like there are phases in shooters training program when he has to train together with others and he has to train individually. So even like at the basic level also you have to give that shooter personal attention. Similarly, when they really go higher and they are shooting internationally, at that time also they require personal attention because things are when you have to fine tune that shooter's technique, then every shooter has a different way of doing things. Then you have to really sit back and watch that shooter for some time, understand his problems, and you have to give specific instructions or specific that shooter specific solutions.
Again, shooting is a sport where you require a lot of practice and training. So if you have to come, let's say, for the national level, how many hours of training and practice do one should put in to
Yeah,
maintain that level or come to that level?
3 hours, 3 days a week, and 2 hours daily minimum. But it's more quality is definitely more important than the.
So you believe in more quality work than just doing dry practice for 5 hours or something?
And if you really have to come to national level, see again I would say, shooters they just go to the range and hours and together they keep training. That is not at all required at this level. What is required is a good physical base. Instead of spending whole week on the range, you do physical training for 3 days, and 3 days you come to the range and practice. That's more than enough.
I think this is a new learning.
No, that's yes, and it is very very important, and they don't it's not that they don't understand, they don't want to understand. That's the problem.
No, there is always a fear that if you miss out.
No, it's not fear. They are basically the physical training part. They are
Is
very
ignored.
lazy. They just ignore because they are lazy. Nothing else. I've seen too many of shooters, and I know that's the problem with them.
Besides Maharashtra, which state is dominating the nationals, according to you? And what is the reason?
See, Maharashtra is like, of course, the credit goes to the federation because we have been like, ever since it was founded, since then they have been supporting shooters and shooting sport very well, even today. But now see, like Punjab is coming up very well. Then Punjab, their major strength is they're genetically strong. Okay? And we have to understand that if we are not genetically strong, we have to make effort to make ourselves
Develop
strong.
ourselves.
We cannot just take things for granted like that. And then again, now Tamil Nadu is coming up very well. They have a lot of young and army had always been one force because dominating again they are soldiers, so they are physically much fitter, and their major advantage is they are very well provided. See, they have access to the all kind of equipment,
Latest
ammunition,
equipment, ammunition.
everything. So that kind of facility is not available to civilian shooters. And that's the main reason why civilian shooters sometimes they fall back. Like the talent is not a problem at all, but especially in small bore units.
Do you think that there are enough trainers or coaches in our country?
Not at all. And specifically at the grassroots level, there are trainers, but they need to be trained
Okay.
because See, whatever they did as shooters, I'm not very sure that is correct. So the first they are to be taught what are the basics and how to go about coaching. Then they can transfer that knowledge to the shooters. So the trainers are required and good trainers are required. Because many a times what I have observed, see at national level the shooters they come through some coaches. They already had some training at home. So some of them are really good, but sometimes they are really badly misguided, misled, or misconstructed. Sometimes the technical part you can still change, but the mindset becomes difficult to change shooters' mindset after a certain point. So that is their mental development is very important. Even if that trainer could set their mind on right track, the technical part can be handled anytime.
Correct. So basically, you again say that the most stress besides the physical part should be on mental training.
Not really. Mental training, yes. But see, we have set ideas about mental training. Mental training is not really just a meditation or concentration. It's basically a way you think.
Correct.
So it's like parents, they are bringing up a child, and whatever they tell that child since childhood,
Correct.
that is mental training.
Right.
So it's like, so the mental training cannot be handled by just one mental trainer, some XYZ mental trainer singularly. It has to be, like, of course parents play a very big role, and the coach also, and it's trio.
Right.
All three have to
So everything
work.
has to sync together.
Exactly. See, if I tell something and if the parents contradict that, then shooter is confused. And this similarly, a mental trainer tells something which is not, the shooter has to understand it, and he should be able to transfer it in his techniques.
Right.
So he should be able to relate it to what he is actually going through on the lane.
Right.
Only then he'll be able to do it. Just saying, they're telling a shooter to think positive. When nothing is falling in place,
Right.
it's not going to help him anyways. So,
Yeah. Do our shooters have access to latest equipment?
yeah, it's much better than before, because now, because of this IT and all information technology, they have immense exposure. They are much, this generation of shooters is much smarter than us.
Right.
They know a lot about what is happening in the world. So it's, and now government policies also have changed a lot, and that even parents are now, they are willing to support their kids. There are a lot of trust and this foundations which are like sports foundations which are supporting shooters at very basic level. Actually, they sponsor youth shooters or junior shooters, and that also is helping shooters a lot. So I think things are much
Much
better
improved.
than much improved.
And you said the government is also supporting.
Yeah, they are supporting quite well. Because see, sitting out and blaming them, it's very easy.
Right.
But you have to think from all sides. Like in this sport, it's an Olympic sport,
Right.
and it doesn't have a spectator. It's not a very spectator-friendly sport. So it wouldn't have survived if government has not supported it. Every penny that NRA spends on shooters, or whatever the Indian shooters, when they go outside, all these international exposures they are getting, kind of ammunition is providing, it is all thanks to government of India. So they have been since 91 onwards, they have been supporting this sport very well. Of course, a lot more is desired, but it's not only in terms of funding. I think the money is not a problem. Just
Channelizing
channelizing that those funds is more important, and that will give us tremendous results. We are always looking at China and
Exactly.
European,
Exactly.
but we are far better off than them. We just need to be a little more organized, and that's it.
I think when shooters come into that platform of aiding the government to help the shooters to get better policies and all, I mean things will definitely change.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think shooting in India is one sport where we can look forward for the international medals.
Yeah, definitely. See, now if you check last few years international performances, there are hardly any competitions where India has not got a single medal.
Right.
I don't say we did extraordinarily well. We can do much better. But still, now is the time, like including Olympic Games, we have got at least one
Right.
medal in almost every competition.
Right. Yeah.
There are very few competitions where we have not got any medal,
Correct.
whether the small like junior competitions or senior competitions. So I think that's a big achievement in itself.
Next 3 years, what do you think? Where do we stand as in sport on the international platform? Where does India stand?
See, we are quite strong, but you can't take success for granted. You have to keep working because it is not, still there is not a, we are not really on a right track as far as organizational point of view. If you
So there are a lot of gaps. So.
lot of gaps. We are not able to provide shooters with consistent training. They now they are doing well because some of them are able to train at their own work. They are able to support themselves. But you cannot rely on these single shooters for a very long time. They are going to retire sometime, and you need people to you have to prepare a second line of shooters before these people pass out.
Phase out and
Phase
then,
out.
yeah,
So that these people can come in. So you like we saw it few years. Now they are coming in some shooters. Like Anjali Sumani, we started leaving the field and there was nobody. We didn't get quota in last Olympics. We had no quota in rifle women. That's not done. That should not happen like that. So for that it has to be organized effort. Only then we can get like shooters like China. We should have just 6 shooters to choose from.
Right.
We don't have that kind of choice now. We just whoever like chalo koi to aao. That kind of. So it should not happen. We still have to organize their training and their competition schedule properly so that there has to be continuous and consistent growth.
Right.
So
And,
that is a little missing. That the growth is there, but it's very
haphazard.
very haphazard. Like just sometimes some individual comes up and shoots well, and then vanishes. Then some the guy will come up. That should not happen.
You think that there is a need to create awareness at the basic root level, like in
Yes,
schools and
definitely.
colleges?
Yes. About the sport also and the requirement of the sport. So that the shooters or their parents don't get misguided. They spend a lot of money and so much time. More than money, time is very important. These young people, they are spending the best period of their life. So that should not go waste. So if they are guided properly right from the beginning, then they know also their ability. Okay, I can do, I cannot do, then just leave it and start do something else. So that awareness is required.
Now, coming back to the individual shooter, what do you think are the qualities or a quality of from let's say a professional shooter to a champion? What do you see, or what a shooter should have to become a really champion, let's say on the international platform?
See, the physical physical fitness is must, but more than that, see, the basic knack for that particular sport is required. You call it a talent, but talent is something little more than a knack, but at least you must understand the core of that sport. So in shooting, mainly because it's a different sport, you cannot see things from outside. Like I just like in cricket, you can on all other sports you can see how he is holding the bat, but here you how can he show a shooter how to hold a muscle? I just can't show that. The shooter has to understand and do it. So that basic understanding is required. So for this sport, you do require a certain level of IQ. You just can't, anybody just can't be there. And commitment and all other things are, they require for like any field. If you, any other field also, if you really want to excel in the work you are doing, you require those commitment and hard work and everything. But the basic, the strength of character is required for this sport. You have to think rationally, and under a tremendous pressure, you should be able to, hold your ground. Okay, I'm doing this. This is life, and I just have to stay here. That kind of. So for that, you really require a strength of character. So these are the basic requirements. These things, differentiate between a champion and a other shooter. And these can be developed slowly, but it has to be there in some quantity. Then only you can.
So what is your last message to all the shooters? What would you say? What they should do?
See, basically, all shooters, they must understand that this is a sport, and they must, the first thing is they must enjoy it. Everything else comes later.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy things that way, you cannot, then what's the use of playing this sport if you don't enjoy? So first you enjoy, and everything else will fall in place. Okay? खेल है, खेलना ही है. Don't make it lifetime mission or something like that. It ultimately it becomes like that, but just enjoy this sport.
Great. Thank you very much for talking to us. All the best to you. Thanks.
Thank you.